Well, I've got beans popping, and what's so cool about this is a brand new project for me, even though technically this is a pre-existing hunting spot. So when I first got this property, this entire portion of the property was actually established in a CRP program. It was established in cover, and it had been that way for 15 years. So the issue with the way this farm was set up, in my opinion, now that I've hunted it, is there was so much food around the perimeters, and the interior was the cover. So a lot of times I felt like I was exposing everything by pushing them to the edges. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to kind of flip that. And in this case, right here, I've actually taken all this here that was once in CRP, and I've decided to establish it in a row crop. Now this is really going to change the dynamics of this place. It's going to change it a lot. And so I'm going to have a learning curve here, but I'm also going to be able to utilize HuntWise in the app to be able to pick and choose my best options. So what I like about this right now is, prior to this, I was planting a lot of food plots or small food destinations, and because of the density of deer, especially once hunting or gun season starts and deer start coming in and coming in and coming in just to seek refuge in thick cover, the problem was they would wipe out the food sources that I had, or food plots. They would wipe them out over those 3 and 3.5 weeks of gun season, and I wouldn't have anything left for the late season. So I wanted to be able to establish food that would be sustainable, and in order to do that I needed more of it, so they weren't just crushing that smaller part. So what I've done here is, this is all the new row crop. I can actually see my beans coming up, which is pretty exciting. This used to be 5.5 foot native grasses, and I would ride my bike right through the middle, grasses on both sides, so a ton of cover, and I'd have to go through all my cover to get into the food. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to kind of enter quick, make a strike or not, exit quick, allow things to seek refuge in a spot that's not so close to the neighboring properties. So I've kind of done a full flip, which is going to be interesting. Now because of that, I have to establish brand new hunting locations. And so for me, I've really got to factor in what is the weather going to be doing when I want to hunt this. So for example, you know, with these being beans, I'm probably not going to be hunting these in mid-October. So the real question is, when am I going to be hunting them? I'm going to be hunting them probably the last week or week and a half of the bow season, and I'm really going to hit these hard during that late season. So just factoring that in, I've got a little bit more weather to deal with. I'm probably going to deal with some snow fronts and things like that. I'm probably going to choose blinds for the most part, setting them up, and then being able to pick which direction, the wind direction, is going to be most suitable. So you always want to have an option A and an option B if you can. I know some people can't put multiple stands in spots. Maybe the area doesn't necessarily hold it, or you know, blinds aren't cheap either. So you might just have one, and where am I going to put that? If you only have one, an option is a portable blind that's maybe on a trailer or something like that, to where you can move it to where you need it to be so that the wind is right for an upcoming forecast. That's one thing that's so nice about the app, is being able to look at that and it tell you, okay, hey, coming up, there's some key days that are going to be awesome days for you to be hunting. And if you see that, you can also look at the forecast out and maneuver that blind so it's going to be favorable for you. So this is going to be a really interesting project. I'm going to update you and do continual things as we progress through here. Right now, I kind of want this stuff to come up. You know, we're in May right now, so I want this stuff to come up. And once it's up, I'm probably gonna set some cameras around some key areas just to see where my travel is starting to develop, because I don't have history on the travel right now based on the fact that this was always thick, standing, tall grass. Now it's row crop, so I don't know if the animals are going to be safe in here, feel safe, and they're going to move across, or if they're really going to utilize my perimeter. But that's stuff that I can find out by using the recon with my trail cameras. The last thing that I'll say is, because this is so thick, and sometimes if the row crop is all the way up, I might need to be able to get around to a different spot without going right through the gut of this all. Or when I need to exit in the evening, if this whole field late season has animals all in here and I hunt and end up not getting a shot, and I've got to try to get out with as least impact as possible, I need to be able to have an evac plan, right? So follow me this way, and there's tracks all over in here, so this looks great. They're already starting to use it. But one of the things that I did was I actually created a parallel trail. You can see how this field lays out. So what I did was I created a parallel trail right inside here, so I can easily mow this behind my ATV, but I've got a trail that gives me thick cover. So turn and look this way. You can see, because these are all cedars, they're really not going to lose their leaves and stuff. So you can see out there in that field, if I needed to flank this around to get into a location, I don't want to expose myself to 50 acres of row crop or 60 acres. So I've created my little secondary parallel path right here to where I can walk through here, get up into a tree stand, be facing into the field. Or like I said, at the end of the hunt, if I don't have someone that can come in and kind of bump the deer out of there, so that they don't see a human walking out across the field, I can get down, come through the fence line, and then follow this parallel path for my evac plan. I have huge expectations for how this will develop, and I'm actually thinking that I'm going to be able to have more opportunity for big unknown bucks during the later part of the season and during the peak part of the rut, because I've got more food sources here. I think I'm going to hold more does, which in turn is going to bring me more bucks as well. But we'll see how this plays out, and I'll show you how the app is going to help us map that out, pick the right spots, set it all in place, and literally be able to just wait until I get that notification that new field stand 1 is primed for the pickings tonight.